Okay, so forget about quarterly reports and 5-year plans. Today, we're talking about a plan on a completely different timescale. We're not looking at the next decade, we're looking at the next billion years. Yeah, you heard that right.
And at the heart of this whole thing is this one massive idea. This isn't just about building better technology. It's about fundamentally changing what it means to be human. The goal is a future where we're no longer stuck on one planet, but we're actually out there living among the stars.
It's an incredible vision for sure. Sounds like something straight out of a movie. But it begs the question, how do you actually build that? What are the real-world nuts and bolts challenges you have to solve to make this dream a reality? Well, let's break it down.
So, first up, where does an idea this big even come from? Well, it's a future a lot of us have probably dreamed about.
I mean, think about the coolest science fiction you've ever seen. The core idea here is to take that exact feeling, that sense of wonder and exploration, and turn it from something you watch on a screen into something that's actually happening.
Now, to really get why this whole plan is so focused on space, we have to zoom out, way out. And we need to get a sense of our real place in the universe. And, it's pretty humbling. So back in the 60s, a scientist named Kardashev came up with this scale. A Type 1 civilization can harness all the energy on its planet. A Type 2 can harness all the energy of its star. And us? We're not even a Type 1 yet. Not even really close. Take a look at this number, 1 trillionth. That's the tiny fraction of the sun's total energy that humanity currently produces with all of our electricity generation combined. It's just staggering when you think about it. It shows you just how much energy is out there that we're not even touching.
And this quote from Carl Sagan just drives the point home perfectly. Our entire world, everything we've ever known, is basically an invisible speck of dust in the cosmic arena. And when you really absorb that perspective, it changes everything.
Because it leads you to this really critical conclusion. If you want to grow as a civilization, truly scale up by huge factors, you can't stay on the dust mote. You have to go where the energy is. And that means going out into the solar system to harness the power of the sun directly. But here's the thing. Harnessing that kind of energy requires an insane amount of intelligence. And in our world, that means one thing: AI compute power. The big problem? Right now, we are facing a massive, massive bottleneck. So, to make this all happen, the plan calls for adding a terawatt of new AI compute every single year. But just look at this chart. That little tiny bar, that's the entire global production of AI chips right now. It's only about 2% of what's needed. This isn't a gap, it's a chasm. The obvious question is, why not just buy more chips? Call up the existing suppliers and place a giant order. Well, they just can't make them fast enough. Even if they expanded at their absolute maximum rate, it wouldn't even come close. So you need a totally new approach. So if the world can't make the one thing you need most, what do? You build the factory to do it yourself. And that's where this comes in. This is the solution.
The real magic here isn't just the sheer scale, it's the speed. See, today, the chip industry is spread all over the world. Design happens here, manufacturing happens there. It can take months or even years to go from a new idea to a finished chip. By putting every single step under one roof, you create this incredibly fast feedback loop. You can design, create, manufacture, and test a chip, and then do it all over again almost instantly. It's a rate of improvement nobody else on Earth can match.
And this fab will basically be building two totally different kinds of chips. On one hand, you have the chips for Earth. These are for things like Optimus robots and cars. They need to be super smart, but also super power efficient. On the other hand, you've got the chips for space. These things are absolute beasts, designed for a high-power, hostile environment. They even run hotter on purpose, which sounds weird, but it actually saves a ton of mass on cooling systems, which is a huge deal in space.
And where is all this new compute going to be used? Well, because Earth is so limited when it comes to power, the vast majority of it, we're talking 90%, is destined for space. That's where you can really scale things up.
Okay, so a terawatt of new compute every year is a civilization-changing number. It's absolutely enormous. But it's still just the first big step. The plan doesn't stop there. Building this terafab gets humanity to a whole new level. But in the grand scheme of things, if the goal is to become a true Type 2 civilization, well, this is just laying the first piece of the foundation.
So if a terawatt is step 1, what's step 2?
How do you scale up by another 1,000 times? Yeah, 1,000. A petawatt of compute. That's the next major milestone on this cosmic roadmap. And the proposed answer for how to get there is a lunar mass driver. Think of it like a giant electromagnetic catapult built on the moon. Because the moon has low gravity and no atmosphere, you can just fling massive payloads into space without needing rockets. It would totally change the game for building things on a scale we can't even imagine right now. So, what's the ultimate point of all of this? Building these massive compute factories, building mass drivers on the moon, it all comes back to a very simple, very human goal. This is the end state vision, an economy so powerful, so vast, running on AI and robotics at a solar system scale, that the very idea of scarcity becomes a thing of the past. Anything you could possibly want or need could simply be created for you. And these are the 3 pillars that make it all possible. You combine sustainable energy that's being harvested in space, the intelligence of AI to run all the robotics, and the ability to travel between planets. You put those 3 things together, and you unlock a future of wealth and opportunity that's almost hard for us to comprehend today. And really, that brings us to the final thought here. When all the limits of energy and resources are gone, the only thing left that's holding you back is your own imagination. So it's worth asking yourself, in a future where you could truly have anything, what would be the very first thing you'd create?